It's 142. Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the One Take Podcast, episode 142. This week, we are doing some hot off the presses propaganda, folks. We're bringing it to you live like Fox News propaganda. It's incredible.
All right, let's back it up.
Let's back up for just a little bit, please.
Everyone's favorite Republican, Michael Jordan. This week we're talking about Air. Yeah. A new film from Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. They're back together again. The band is back together, making films, opening production companies, giving creatives a portion of the profits from the movies. So we love to see it.
We love to see it. Matt Damon not doing crypto commercials anymore. He's doing Nike commercials now.
Oh, man, this is the best movie that Matt Damon has tried to sell me something since he tried to sell me Ford.
I will watch him sell anything.
I was gonna say he was successful both times. He's really him.
In a different life, he is Don Draper from Mad Men.
I can see that.
Anyway, how we all doing? Tej, this movie is based around when you were like 25 years old. So did it bring you back?
Please stop this. But yes, anytime the movie puts you in the 80s at the beginning, like I'm probably gonna be a fan. This is a great time, but I have always hated Michael Jordan, and so this is a very interesting journey for me. I own Jordans, and I bought into the Nike propaganda hook, line, and sinker, but I hate Michael Jordan, and I hate UNC, obviously, because I'm a Duke fan.
Oh, so, right.
If this movie was able to work on me, of all people, I think that it is a clear indication of the real quality, because above all, I do love cinema, and this was cinema indeed.
Were you a big Gary Payton guy back in the day?
Oh, God, no. I was a huge Reggie Miller fan, unfortunately. We don't have to talk about
it. Why? Reggie Miller?
Yes, I loved Reggie. I don't know why. I love Reggie Miller.
We litigated how bad those Indiana Pacers games were on this podcast. That's gross.
Yeah, it was
an 81 to 79 basketball back in
the day. It was very, very nasty times. But I was a Reggie Miller. I just needed a hero. But then the Houston Rockets came along, but then God didn't give us the matchup that we all deserved. But I needed a hero to beat Michael Jordan. Fault. That's all I cared about.
Michael's fault. Never let anybody forget.
He was ducking Hakeem.
He was ducking Hakeem. We all know that. Like, everybody on this podcast knows he was ducking Hakeem. It's fine. We don't even have to talk about it. It's canon. It's established canon.
NBA canon. We're gonna we're there may be points in this podcast where we just veer off into Skip Bayless territory. Like there just might be. Anyway, Dex, how you doing?
Good, man.
New job, thriving.
New job, thriving.
Swag.
Tons of Apollo stuff happening. Apollo soccer is out here now. It's a thing.
Undefeated.
Undefeated at home.
At home.
Yeah, but not actually undefeated because they are bumps on the road, but that's fine.
Don't let anybody.
Apollo Warriors.
Apollo Warriors. The Apollo Warriors. But yeah, we out here. We're having a good time. How are you, Royden?
Oh, how am I?
Yeah.
Oh, I never get asked that question. Well, I'm slowly getting older and the world keeps spinning. So here we are, right?
You and me both, dude. I tweeted this yesterday. I was with my family on Easter. I don't remember what happened. I think my dad was talking about like Easter egg hunting or something. And my mom goes, Davion's almost 30. He doesn't want to do that. I'm like, almost 30? Relax.
I need to stop this shit right now, bro.
I can hang on to mid to late 20s right now. I'm 27. You gotta give me mid to late 20s at best. Don't say almost 30.
I'm inching towards 29 and my legs just hurt. My legs and back. I don't know what that is. I know people are rolling their eyes.
This is the nastiest content that we've ever put on this podcast by far.
I'm not gonna lie.
That is a high bar.
I do make involuntary noises now, like getting out of my car or like getting out of bed after a while. Just like one of those, like, ah!
Tej, I know your knees and back hurt every single morning. Don't like.
That's true. That's why I can't listen to this because I've been gang for a long time. I'm a little older than 30, so
a little older,
just
mid-30s,
just a squidge older than 30.
Yeah,
so.
you got mid to late 30s for a little while still.
Y'all all gonna love being in your 30s. It's the best thing of all time. It's literally the greatest gift that you can have. Trust me, it doesn't feel that way now, but it's amazing. You'll see.
As long as I, as long as I don't as long as this is still up here for me, no offense, Dex, but as long as this is still up here for me,
No
I'm
offense,
doing
Dex.
okay. I'm doing okay.
Amen to that.
I can just keep it moving. The age is just a number if the hair's on the head for me. No
God
offense.
damn it.
Anyway,
Yeah,
hey, it's okay. Michael Jordan lost his hair too. Boom, transition. Air 2023 movie, 7.8. One of the best reviewed movies of the year. We'll get that out of the way. 7.8 on IMDb. People seem to love this movie. Rated R, hour 51 minutes, breezy. Follows the history of the shoe salesman Sonny Vaccaro, and how he led Nike in its pursuit of the greatest athlete in the history of basketball, Michael Jordan. Nasty. What a nasty synopsis.
I'm surprised they stopped at history of basketball. They didn't just
The
say
history of other.
Same.
They didn't stop short in the movie. Let me tell you that much. Ben Affleck is the director, coming back to direct, I believe, his fourth motion picture after Live by Night, a movie which flopped, which was his passion project, and I think began a downward spiral that led him to become Batman, and then anyway, or he may have been Batman before. Anyway, but it was written by Alex Convery, stars Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, Ben Affleck as Phil Knight in his dreams, I imagine.
What Phil Knight wishes he was like.
What Phil Knight wishes he looked like.
Phil Knight fan fiction about Phil Knight.
Chris Mencia, Viola Davis in just a role that threatened to like she's on screen for a character, for an actor of Viola Davis's stature. She has like 3 scenes. That's really cool to see her just take this role. Because it had weight. She's Dolores Jordan, Chris Tucker, Julius Tenen, who I haven't ever seen anything. He plays James Jordan, and Matthew Maher as Peter Moore, the guy that invented the original Air Jordan. Also, Marlon Wayans makes a pretty good appearance as well too. Shout out to Marlon. This movie's doing okay at the box office. Everything, Dex, we were talking about before you got on, everything is just being steamrolled into oblivion by Mario right now.
The new MCU is here. Our Nintendo overlords have arrived, brothers. The MCU is here.
The Mario Cinematic Universe is upon us.
Oh man,
Ready or not.
The most okay animated movie since Frozen 2.
Despite what Dex said, what I really wanted when I woke up the morning I saw Mario was another cinematic universe in my life, and I got it. And then we're here.
Didn't you write a whole article about No More?
I did. Abolish the cinematic universe. We're done.
Yeah, delete that article. We need more cinematic universes. More.
Hey, bro, as long as it stays a movie and they're not like there's 87 Mario TV shows you have to watch now, so you know what's going on in the Mario movies, I'm good.
That's when he gets mad. When they have the TV shows, that's when Dex gets offended. That's when he's like, wait a second.
As long as they're not like sign up for Paramount Plus so you can watch fucking Super Smash Bros. 7.
YouTube Shorts. Had a $90 million budget, which I mean, I guess just goes to there's huge stars in this movie. It's half of that as Matt Damon's retainer, but $30 million gross worldwide. So it's trending to probably end up making its money back. I have already said that this movie will have the best second life of any recent movie, a la The Menu, or Bullet Train, or Banshees of Inisherin, where people will go, "Why didn't anyone tell me about this movie?"
Yep,
it's already coming. I can
and
just
all of
tell
us
you
movie
right
nerds
now.
will be like, "We've been telling you."
Yeah.
What tiny independent studio is going to be streaming this movie for people that might be wondering?
Amazon. Which it is interesting to see that Amazon Studios logo flash up while you're in the movie theater, but Amazon hadn't had any problem with just straight up releasing their movies in theaters, unlike the Dun competition. And the problem that I will see with this having a second streaming life, we haven't even gotten into the review of the movie, but like no one goes to Amazon for new releases. Like we couldn't find Ambulance for like 5 weeks when we were trying to stream it on this podcast.
The
Y'all couldn't
Northman
find
just
Ambulance.
chilling there on Amazon Prime, waiting for a second life, and they just didn't give it to it.
Ambulance is in my blood. I knew exactly where to find it when it was there to be found. It's in my DNA.
Like I said, best reviewed movie of the year, 92% audience score, or 92% critic score, 98% audience score. People love this movie, but people love Jordan. So a fact-based drama that no one will dunk on. Air aims to dramatize events that change the sports world forever, and it's almost nothing but
that is so bad.
Fucking boo.
That is so bad.
A fellow white wrote that for sure.
That God no one will dunk on. Like, shut the fuck up.
Someone wrote that and they felt so proud of themselves. And I just want to say that I hate you, whoever wrote that. I hate you.
But yeah, one of the best reviewed movies of the year. People love this movie. People love Michael Jordan, and a Michael Jordan movie that literally doesn't have Michael Jordan in it, really. Not even a Michael Jordan lookalike. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. Tej, I want your honest reaction, because you called this the best propaganda that money can buy. But you don't like Jordan. So I'm interested to see what your takeaway is.
So this is very fascinating. I've heard from a number of people, both in my life and people I look up to in the movie critiquing space, that they hated this trailer. I was not one of those people. I knew this shit was going to bang from the second I saw that trailer. From the second I heard Motorin blaring through the movie screen speakers when I saw the trailer, I said, oh, that shit's going to bang. Obviously, this movie is about Nike. Nike is a small startup company. Maybe you've heard of it. It's a tiny company.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Obviously, going into the movie, I had reservations because, A, this movie is about Michael Jordan, or at least partially about Michael Jordan. The movie actually is not about Michael Jordan at all.
It's about Sonny Vaccaro.
And B, it's just about like a major mega corporation who happens to have like rampant child labor issues going on. But I also own a lot of Nike products because I'm a slave to consumerism, just like everybody else. And I love Nike and I love Jordan.
Podcast on Max.
So exactly. So I am not above that. So I felt weird going to the movie because obviously you're trying to tell what basically amounts to a real underdog, a real American underdog story about the biggest company that we know, or one of the biggest companies that we know, maybe one of the first big companies that I ever learned as a child. Like, this is a major, major deal. And I was kind of blown away by it. Obviously, it is propaganda. It's a very pro Nike slant. It is a very pro America slant. And these two people are presented as the heroes of the movie. Sonny Vaccaro and Phil Knight, to a certain extent, are presented as the heroes, the upstarts. These are the people we are rooting for in the movie. You're not rooting for Michael Jordan because you don't really see Michael Jordan. And spoiler alert, they don't ever really show Michael Jordan in this film, which I thought was a great, great, great cinematic choice. Mm-hmm. So you're really rooting for this out of shape white guy who happens to look a lot like Matt Damon with a belly. And so, this guy is down on his luck. He's divorced. These things aren't going so well. He doesn't seem to have any women around him. He don't have no hoes. He just keeps on. He seems to be bad at his job, but he loves basketball.
Does most of his shopping at 7-Eleven.
And he's smart enough to know that swaggerless players like John Stockton can't sell shoes, which was a very, very smart thing to know, because I wouldn't wear any John Stockton shoes ever in my whole life. Nobody ever would.
Yeah, the Gonzaga diss is amazing.
Man,
excuse me.
Hate to see that.
There are a lot of sneak disses in this movie. There's a moment where they're talking about Charles Barkley, who was in the same draft, and they go, Charles Barkley, no one ever wants to see that guy on TV. Obviously, we know that Charles Barkley lives on TV. But anyway, they just did a great job with it. Ben Affleck has a singular vision as a director. I've always loved the movies that he directs, even the ones that don't do very well. I think he's a very talented director. And I love the fact that in this movie, as opposed to something like Argo, he is clearly not the star of this movie. Matt Damon is the star of this movie, and he's on screen when needed, but Ben Affleck is not putting himself in the center of the frame. He's mostly putting Ben Affleck or Matt Damon in the center of the frame. I had a great time with it. I was blown away by how amazing it made me feel, by how much they were able to make me root for these people, although I knew the ending of the story. The cast is fucking incredible. Jason Bateman is being Jason Bateman, and it works really well. Chris Tucker is being funny, and it works really well. And I just really miss seeing Chris Tucker be funny in movies. Viola Davis is just I mean, she's one of the best actors in Hollywood, so it shouldn't be surprising that in a small role she just crushes it. But she literally makes the movie. Like, the movie does not work without Viola Davis's performance at the center of it. Like, Matt Damon has two very huge movie star moments where he has to give a monologue and inspire the youth or inspire the people in the audience. And I almost stood up and saluted the man. I just was blown away by it. Obviously, you're going to feel the heartstrings, the tug of propaganda. They mentioned at the end of the movie that Phil Knight has donated a lot of money to charity, which is a complete, like you can see.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable that they would put that in there. But
they're sitting there, they just threw it in there. They're just like, hey, remember, he's donated $2 billion to charity. Oh, thank you.
Honestly, one of my favorite parts of the movie is that they make him look like a fucking idiot, and then they have to redeem it with, he gave a lot of money away. He didn't do anything like, cool or interesting. He just gave a lot of money away.
He founded Nike and gave a bunch of money away. Don't ask about anything else.
Very big propaganda drop, but as a piece of propaganda, just like the Last Dance, which is also major propaganda, it's great. It's just fun to watch. It's a great time at the movies. When this hits streaming, this movie looks good, but it's not a movie you have to see at the movie theater.
Right.
If you haven't seen this movie yet and it's still in theaters, I'd say go see it. But if you catch this later when it's on Amazon, put it on for an hour and a half. You're gonna have a great time with the movie. It's just great movie making. These are the kind of quote unquote small American stories. Obviously, it's about a big company, but like this kind of small, insular, just guys talking in an office kind of drama that we're putting together as movies that we don't really get to see anymore. And I just loved it. A $90 million talk film where people are just sitting in offices talking. Sign me up. Like, it was very compelling. I just couldn't get over how good Jason Bateman and Chris Tucker were. I just could not get over it. Perfect casting.
I don't love that.
I am obsessed with Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm obsessed with Arrested Development still to this day. I love Jason Bateman. I find him to be, he always plays the same character, but I always find him to be so fascinating.
It's good every time.
It always works. I gave this movie an A+. I absolutely loved it. I saw the scores and the reviews, and I already knew it was going to be good, but I was kind of blown away by how good it was. Perfect movie, no notes. I'll take my propaganda with a dash of sugar and a little bit of medicine, just like they gave it to me. Great job, Matt Damon. Great job, Ben Affleck. I gave it an A+.
Dex, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I also love this movie. I'm not quite an A+, and I'll get to like my small nitpicks here in a second, but this is like my favorite type of based on a true story movie where they just pick like a very simple moment in time, like in a short amount of time. It's not like trying to tell you Michael Jordan's entire life story, not trying to tell you Sonny Vaccaro's entire life story. It just tells you the story of Sonny Vaccaro being like, Michael Jordan is him. I'm gonna get him a shoe deal. And like they keep it real simple, real straightforward. It's not some like 3-hour long, like Elvis style, like I gotta walk you through everything that this person ever did. No, it's just Matt Damon and Ben Affleck making a quick decision, and you already know how it's gonna play out, but they still make it compelling because it's like, yo, like Matt Damon's trying to tell everybody in the fucking world that Michael Jordan is him. Nobody believes him. And you're like, you idiots. I know Michael Jordan is him. Like, why don't you know this? And it just works for me.
All of us singing Jalen Green's praises on this podcast. Y'all gonna see.
God damn it.
I can't wait for Air 2, the story of Jalen Green. I can't wait.
I mean, he's with Adidas, so his will be like Stripe or something like that. But yeah, shout out to Jalen Green. But yeah, man, I just love when biopics keep it simple. They tell one very straightforward story and tell it really well. So good job out of Ben Affleck doing that. I really love the Matt Damon performance. I feel like Matt Damon is one of those people who's come back around to being underrated. Like, obviously he started out hot. He was like one of the biggest names in Hollywood or whatever. I feel like, he kind of became underrated there for a little while. People slept on Matt Damon after everyone was like, it's Matt Damon, whatever. Like the Bourne movies, who cares? Blah, blah, blah. But he's really fucking good. And I feel like, he's getting his due now with, Ford v Ferrari. Last Duel, people went and saw on HBO Max after they didn't see it in theaters.
can I just to interject? He's sort of all of a sudden, because he was always the handsome leading man, and he still is handsome. The greatest trick that Ben Affleck, the devil, ever pulled is making you think that Ben Affleck is fat and out of shape. Is making you think Matt Damon is fat and out of shape. Matt Damon's in a fat suit in this movie. Like that's but
they made him ugly in the last duel.
Yeah, he's somehow transitioned,
but not a fat suit like the whale. It's not like that.
Yeah,
all right,
no.
It's just got a little bit of a gut, but it's not like the way. It's not like over the top.
Or Tom Hanks in
Elvis.
Yeah, but like it's sort of come around to that he has transitioned into this everyman leading role type of guy that Hanks sort of occupied in the early 2000s.
Yep.
And it's really playing out well for him, I believe, with these last few projects that he's made, outside of like Downsizing, which I think kind of tanked a little, like put him on a downslope for a minute before.
Not gonna lie, I tried to watch Downsizing on a plane, fell right the fuck asleep. I was like, no, thank you.
So did everyone else.
I'm good.
Anyway, sorry, continue.
Since then, I feel like, Matt Damon is he's really him still. And he shows up on a movie like this or a movie like Ford v Ferrari, and you're like, oh yeah, this is a movie star still. Like, he still got the fastball. And like when they need him to just sit there and look at the camera and talk shit about how great Michael Jordan is going to be, that shit is compelling. Like, not everyone can do that. You know what I'm saying? In the hands of a lot of lesser actors, like that monologue is like the corniest shit you ever heard in your life. But Matt Damon does it, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, Matt Damon. Michael Jordan is really like that.
It also feels like he knows, like, and you've heard interviews with him. It sounds like he knows about basketball. Like even a cursory knowledge about basketball, because you listen to some actors talk about sports and you're like, you have never seen a football played in your entire life. Not once.
Yeah. Also, very thankful that they didn't put super big Jordan fan Mark Wahlberg in this movie, because just glad we don't have to do that. I'm just glad we got Matt Damon.
We don't have to put Mark Wahlberg in anything further. I think we've all had enough. I literally think we've all had enough. Thank you.
But yeah, like my nitpicks, like pretty small, but there were points in this movie where, like, if you already know some of the facts of like the story or whatever, there's a lot of lines of dialogue where it felt like, oh, they just said that so they like can tell you that they know that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that doesn't have anything to fucking do with this conversation right now. Like, why are you telling me this random Nike factoid? Like, I just hate that part of it. Like, and it only happened like a handful of times, but it was still like, come on, guys, like let's reel it back in here. I know you read the books. We don't need like every little quote you liked in the books. All right, like, let's keep the story going.
I think the scriptwriter wrote this script on spec off of a 30 for 30 documentary over the same sort of thing.
Oh, sick.
So
yes,
it's really following like beat for beat how that played out. So yeah, I see what you're saying, and that's kind of where my nitpicks are with it too.
Yeah, and there's a book called Shoe Dog about the shoe dog who they mentioned in this movie. So I figured like I assumed that's where a lot of like their info came from or whatever, because it's a really good book. But anyway, yeah, that is a nitpick. And then also just kind of it felt longer than an hour 50 or whatever we said it was. Like, it seemed there were points where it started to drag a little bit. Like, we had already gotten the story set up and we were just kind of waiting around for like it to keep going, but again, none of that like really took away too much of my enjoyment from the film. Fucking the agent guy, I don't remember his name. He was cooking every time he was on screen.
Chris Mencina, yeah.
Yes. Viola Davis was cooking when she was on screen, and yeah, I love that they had Michael Jordan as kind of like this boogeyman figure. Like, they didn't like let you see his face or anything. Like,
why do we think that is? Is that because, spoiler alert for the movie, they have Michael Jordan present, the figure of Michael Jordan present in the meetings with Adidas, Converse, and Nike.
But you like only see him from behind.
You see him from profile. He says one or two words.
Yeah.
And I think the two words he says are Bulls colors. and that's it. And
Matt Damon or Ben Affleck told us in an interview why they didn't show Michael Jordan.
is it because they couldn't figure out that somebody looked like him, or is it that
No.
he's a bigger figure?
Yeah,
and we
they
would
want to make
relate
him like
that?
looking at God.
No, he said that he's too big of a cultural icon to put somebody on screen that's supposed to look like him. Like no matter how close you get, you can't do it. Like you can't put somebody in that seat
Fair enough.
that's supposed to play Michael Jordan, and it would just take away from the movie. Because as soon as you showed his face, I thought watching the movie the whole time that they were going to be the big reveal at the end of the Nike meeting. It was going to be finally see his face and he smiles or something. But they were like, no, if we put that in the movie, all that people are going to be thinking about for the rest of the movie is, did they get Michael Jordan right? Does he look like Michael Jordan? And they said they didn't want people to be caught in that moment. They wanted people to be swept up in the emotions of Matt Damon's monologue, which is I think a great choice.
Yeah,
It
fair
is.
enough.
It is a good choice. It does at certain points being like, I also, at the same time, while thinking it was a good choice, being like, can we fucking see Michael Jordan? Can we like?
I did want to see him, but I understand why I did not see him. But the whole time I was like, what's this Jordan character going to look like? And I think that's what everybody in the movie theater is thinking. Like, okay, we know Michael Jordan is here, but what is it going to look like? Because if you fuck that up, the movie.
We couldn't have got Marcus in there to do some like age down like mocap or anything like
absolutely
that.
not.
Keep Marcus away from Bikini. Marcus is busy, bro. Keep
Absolutely
Marcus the fuck away.
What if they
Keep
got
Marcus
Michael
and
Jordan
Larsa
in
Pippen
there
off
and
the
did the
set.
de-aging Marvel thing?
Oh, that would have been even worse. The Irishman 2, Air Jordan.
Sorry, do you have anything else, Dex?
Nah, I just give it an A. Fantastic film.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the same point. Like I know this film is great and I know this film is well done. I think Ben Affleck is not underrated as a director because one of his films literally won Best Picture, but he also didn't get nominated for Best Director for said film, which is astonishing. But
True.
There's something to be said about a director that kind of just does yeoman's work like we've seen from directors of years past, where it's like no frills. What you see is what you get. We're not doing a bunch of tricks here. And not to say that his movies aren't compelling and that he doesn't move the camera a certain way or anything like that. He got the most tension of any movie I've ever seen out of people walking through an airport. So that I think what this needed for me was a little bit more. I'm not saying there's no stakes, but a little steeper stakes, because the stakes are, and this is why you care about it, are that if this doesn't work, Sonny Vaccaro loses his job. Matt Damon loses his job. And that's why you care, because it's Matt Damon and you don't want Matt Damon, this sad sack, to lose his job because you're rooting for Matt Damon. You never see his kid.
Only likes him for his shoes.
You never see his kid. You never see his ex-wife or anything to like develop that further, and you don't really need it. I'm just saying we all know the story of Air Jordans going into this. Spoiler alert, it works out.
The Air Jordan was not the last one that they ever made. They've made several more since then.
In fact, there's at least 11 of them, right? Right? No, I think it was cool having the nostalgia. Like, look, if you play Dire Straits to open up any movie, that nostalgia drip of money for nothing or whatever, like that guitar riff to open any movie, I'm hooked. But there are not really that much. There aren't the kind of stakes that I think I would kind of need for this to work as well as it should have. And I still give it an A-. I think it was a well done, people in rooms talking to each other. And I love that. And I love Matt Damon and I love Ben Affleck. And I love seeing Chris Tucker on camera. Hey, thank God, guys. Rush Hour 4. It's coming back. Yeah.
We back.
So racism is back. And I think that seeing all these likable people that we love or that we like on screen, just talk, like I said, talking in rooms about something that we all sort of, even if you don't own Jordans, have an affinity for. 90s basketball, the rise of a certain figure, Michael Jordan. If you don't like Michael Jordan, you still have to appreciate how famous he really was and the air that is around him. Huh? Yeah, all right. The aura that is around him. And you have to appreciate, I'm a nerd for this. Like, I have to appreciate how big those shoes are. Like, what the cultural significance is around those shoes. And all of that is great. But to sit there and act like we don't know what happens is, and there's probably a bunch of people going to the theater not knowing how this played out. So we're probably in the minority, you know, if we think about it logistically, like we're probably in the minority of people that were like, oh, I didn't know that's how they signed Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sure people
but we
know the ending, but they might not know the journey, right? Like they might not understand the journey or know the journey.
Yeah, they don't understand that like Nike basketball was on its last leg, so they couldn't get anybody good. Like
that's the cool part of it to me, is that first third of the movie, the first act of the movie, where they're sitting there and Matt Damon is just calling the guy a giant asshole for not knowing where this guy went to school or what his game looked like. And you know what I mean? He's like, he averaged like 15 points in 11, or he took like 5 shots. Go fuck yourself. Like, it's just like, that's incredible dialogue. I love that. That's the money. What the sort of weak comparison, I guess, is the moneyballness of it, is where they're sitting there in rooms talking about if this player is good or not. And I'm known Moneyball stan on this podcast.
Yeah.
But I love that part of it. And I love Jason Bateman being Jason Bateman. But I do agree with you, Dex. There are points in the movie where they're just like Saturday night and they're just talking about their lives. I don't. Okay. You know, I don't care that Jason Bateman turned 45. Like, I don't give a shit. But I mean, I want to see. Let me see the shoe. Show me the shoe. And they eventually do.
Billy Bean is a bum who would never have signed Michael Jordan. I just want to put that out there, that we gave Billy Bean his own movie, so we should definitely give Nike and Jordan.
Do we want to litigate how bad of a baseball player that Michael Jordan was?
No.
Well, Billy Bean would have signed Michael Jordan to
Billy Bean definitely would have.
They nearly signed Kyler Murray. They wasted a first-round draft pick.
Michael Jordan could start for the Oakland A's right now.
He might. But the thing I do, you know what I was saying, and I was saying it in jest in the group message. The reason that I like Moneyball, because it's a fantasy movie. They never won shit. We know that Michael Jordan is a billionaire.
They never won shit.
Why are we holding water for this billionaire still? He has had the most media coverage of any billionaire ever, not named Donald Trump.
Earned it.
That everyone holds water for the guy. No one has ever torn Michael Jordan down, even though Matt Damon said to the contrary that they'll try to tear you down. And then it's like, no, they're gonna.
They did kill his dad. So.
And they actually brought that up in this movie. Like, they actually showed the headline.
That was a crazy.
I was
transition. They held on James Jordan,
yeah,
and then show the newspaper headline of James Jordan killed, and you're like, what?
I was in the theater with a young person like y'all, and she was like, what happened to Michael Jordan's dad? And I was like, oh, buddy, there's some conspiracy theories out there. I don't want to go into them, but they didn't get into them in the movie. But yeah, there's some stuff surrounding the death of his father that was not the greatest.
We are David Sir never saw the pearly gates. But
it's all allegedly. We don't sue us. We don't have any money. Allegedly, guys. Allegedly.
But I will say that look, your dad and grandfather are gonna love this movie, as will you. Facts. Anyone over the age of 30 is definitely over the age of 25 is gonna love this movie. And I think it'll be pretty interesting for someone younger that hasn't maybe watch the Last Dance documentary to kind of understand how big this got for Nike, but they don't go into that until like a stinger at the very end. But why this was such a big deal, like you cannot tell the story of the Nike brand without Jordan, quite literally, because it would be like if Brooks running shoes was all of a sudden, we're gonna sign Victor Wembanyama or whoever the next guy is. You know what I mean?
Future Houston Rocket. Yeah, I understand.
Future Rockets legend Victor Wembanyama.
When
they're like,
Wemby
Brooks
sits down at
like
the table
Brooks
with Brooks
running
Brothers,
shoes,
and then Wemby goes, "Oh, Rockets colors," and then they
Like
become the
on
biggest shoe company in the
clouds.
world.
He's sponsored by OnCloud. What?
Why is Victor Wembanyama wearing the largest pair of Hokas I've ever seen?
Yeah. So no, that's kind of what it would be like. My biggest takeaway from this is how bad Converse fucking fumbled. They had a 3-0 lead,
Blew it. Got bought by Nike.
had dudes from the 60s wearing your shoes, and you couldn't maintain.
The fact that there was ever a moment in this country where people were legitimately hooping in Converse shoes is one of the craziest things ever. Have you ever put on a pair of Converse? Go put on a pair of Chucks right now and go try to do a crossover. Your ankle will snap in 7 places right now. I guarantee you. I fucking guarantee it's impossible. It's literally impossible.
Yeah, see, that's how I know that like none of them old players can survive in this era. Because if you can survive wearing Converse, then you wouldn't do a shit in them shoes.
Those dudes' knees are in hell if they're still alive. Oh my god.
If you could play basketball in a pair of Converse without just busting them in half, like then you can't be out here. Nah, get out of here. Fuck out of here, Bob Cousy.
No, I give this movie an A-. I'm gonna have to really watch it again and kind of embrace what they were going for. We don't get enough movies like this, so it's tough to, like, when you try to tear something down that is this just good, you know?
It's just good.
It is just good, and it's a good time at the movies. I don't know if it'll like break any barriers or win any Academy Awards or anything like that, but
I think it'll be around the conversation.
Me too. I agree. I don't know if it gets in for anything, but I think it will be around the
like
conversation.
Maybe you submit Matt Damon. Like, I think you definitely submit Matt Damon because he's on screen 95% of this movie.
You submit Viola Davis to see if you can, kind of guilt people into nominating her because they did
best supporting.
Yeah, give her that Laura Dern nomination where it's like she's in the movie for 10 minutes, but she's like amazing in those 10 minutes. So, yeah,
I think it'll be around the conversation too. And I just think that obviously I agree with you, Roy. It's whatever it does in the movie theaters is what it does. But I think once it hits Amazon, it's going to have a new level of life because, I mean, we saw what The Last Dance did, and these kids are still wearing Jordan shoes, and it's still very prevalent in the conversation. And I think that'll get kids to watch it. When I say kids, I mean like teenagers. I think kids will start to watch it. Their fathers will like it. Their moms will like it. And I think it'll make a lot of noise throughout the year once it gets on streaming. So I think it'll be in the conversation when it comes to Oscar time. I think so.
Yeah, for a rated R movie, a lot of watch it with the family appeal here.
I can't believe this is a rated R movie. What makes it rated R exactly?
There's a lot of F-bombs. All the conversations between the lawyer or the agent and
true. Oh yeah,
I'm gonna
fuck your eye holes or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat your nuts and stuff like that. It's just like, no, I just thought all of that was great. That's probably my favorite parts of the movie, were the conversations between the agent and Sonny Vaccaro. To me,
and I like that they were like, "Oh, the agent also made $100 million. It's not $1 billion like these other people made, but
this poor over here is
$100 million.
Imagine selling your company for $100 million, and then like you just go have dinner alone by yourself. Like, all right, just going to have dinner with myself. It's a lonely life. It's worth it, but lonely.
And there's a really interesting conversation that I don't know if I want to litigate, but actually, fuck it, let's do it. there's an interesting conversation to be had about movies are just based off of brands now, and like take Dungeons and Dragons or Tetris or Air. Movies are just to get something greenlit. It almost feels like you have to have it be the story of something, or have, if it's not IP driven, then you have to have that brand behind it so people will recognize what it is. And a lot of people, a lot of some movie critics watching this movie aren't in tune with that and how that plays out, and they don't like it that much. And I don't know how I feel about it, but we've been fed brand content so much over our entire lives. I mean, you can't turn on your phone without getting a brand in your face, that it doesn't quite bother me as much as I think it's bothering people maybe even a little older than Tej. I don't know. Do you they were litigating this on the big picture. This is why I'm trying to like put this in here. I'm just trying to see what our thoughts are about where we are about making brands into feature films.
So there's a lot of it, not just films, but also in TV. Obviously, there's an Uber. They did the story of Uber. They're doing the story of these like brands of these businesses.
BlackBerry is coming out soon.
Really? Oh my god! Why? Anyway, it itself, it doesn't bother me. But you feel it when you're in the movie, like watching a movie about watching a TV show about Uber is just inherently weird. Like it's weird, but it's like a different era. But we've always been able to make movies and media about the brands of people that are in big business. We're watching a show called Succession, which is the best show on TV, which is really just the story of Rupert Murdoch and his kids. Like, you know, they've been making movies about this stuff, and sometimes it's, you know, a fictional character where we all know what they're talking about, and sometimes it's like literal Nike check on the screen, like this is Nike. And it does feel weird. I mean, you are sitting in a 2-hour Nike commercial, but the quality shines through to me. At the heart of this is just an underdog story, a story of like, here's a guy who took a chance on himself. And those kind of movies always work. You make a movie about a guy who happens to be white, who takes a chance on himself, you're about to make yourself some money, because that's what white people like to watch. They want to watch a movie about a white underdog who comes out and in the end is the champion. And that's
the American dream, that you too can also be a billionaire eventually if you just work hard enough.
You could be the next Phil Knight. Nothing's stopping you. Go be Phil Knight right now. Like that's what the message they want to put out there. Those
Except
movies
that you
work.
won't. You won't.
Except that you won't, and none of us will be. But
maybe you won't be.
No, but I'm gonna do it.
I also listened to the episode of The Big Pick, and it's true. Like, you do feel those. For example, when I walked out of the Mario movie, I was in there with a bunch of kids, and there were also some teenagers. And one of the teenagers literally said, that was like an hour and a half advertisement for Mario, but Bowser carried. Like, they know, they understand. Like, they're kids, they know.
That's
yeah,
incredible.
like they know. And you're right. It is. As soon as I left the theater, I was like, God, I really want to go play some Mario right now.
I'm not gonna lie to you right now. I bought a game.
Yeah, this shit works. Like, we all understand what's happening to us when we sit down for these movies. You're being advertised to. This is a Nike commercial, but it's also a really great Nike commercial and a really effective movie at the same time. And so I'll take the cinema how I can get it, bros. I just need that feeling into my veins of real cinema, and I'll take it.
Yeah.
So Dex, do you have any point on that?
Yeah, like I don't mind movies being about brands so much, because like I say this about a lot of things, but brands and companies, they're just groups of people. Like, you know, we talk about corporations like they're these like big nameless, faceless things that are like either doing bad things, like doing good things or doing bad things or whatever. But it's like, no, like when you're like, oh, Apple is exploiting like child labor in Asia or whatever. No, there are people making those decisions. It's not like some like Apple logo sentient and like just controlling stuff. It's like, no, people are doing that. Or when it's you know, Nike taking over the world with basketball, it's people doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's where the story is, right? So if you can tell these compelling stories about the people at the heart of these brands, and that's good. And like, with anything, if it gets big enough, then yeah, we're all kind of over it or whatever. But like, if the big picture folks like take off and become the biggest podcast in the history of mankind or whatever, I'm not gonna all of a sudden be like, Sean and Amanda, they're some assholes, like fuck them, like they're just people. Like, so it's fine. I don't get bothered by it. Like, if you can keep the people at the center of the story instead of it being like, oh, this nameless, faceless, generic thing has taken over, until AI takes over. ChatGPT is going to take over all these corporations and then we're all screwed. But until then, it's people behind it.
Unless they want to make a movie about Texas football, then we gotta.
Now, if you want to make a movie about Texas football, that is a brand that we can all get behind. That's America's
the most boring movie in the fucking world.
Just let me tell you a Moneyball story, but in reverse, about how the biggest corporation failed.
Just some guy sitting on Twitter going, "This is our year," and then it never being their year.
This is ridiculous.
No, anything else to say about this before we get into our Twitter conversation that we had?
Go see it. It's awesome. Real Cinema is back, and the reviews didn't lie. I understand why it had 99% of Rotten Tomatoes, because it's hard to sit down and say that you don't enjoy yourself at the movie theater, even though you're sitting in a commercial. It's a pretty damn good commercial. Go see it.
I will say this. Can we stop making propaganda about this guy?
No.
He's gotten two. He's got two of the big. He had two of the most. I'm done. I too like Mike. Unlike Tej, I enjoy Michael Jordan.
Fuck Michael Jordan.
Look, man, I'm just happy that Michael Jordan is getting these. And like, I feel like we've put a stop to like the Derek Jeter nonsense they were trying to do a little while ago.
That's fine.
Derek Jeter nonsense.
We put a stop. Like, they tried to do the Tom Brady like documentary podcast or whatever the fuck that was while he was still playing. Get that shit out of here. I don't want none of that.
No more movies about Tom Brady. Get those the fuck out of here. Nobody saw them shits. Get those the fuck out of here.
That is a thing that I wanted to say too. One, I don't know if you can ever make a movie about a basketball player. Like, you couldn't make this movie about LeBron James, even though his upbringing is inherently more compelling. If that's the word.
They already did. It's called House Party 5 or whatever. The new House Party movie. That's LeBron James's.
Well, I mean, yes,
they did make the LeBron James upbringing movie already. Like, I don't remember what it was called, but it happened.
Was that the one with the Drake song?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's right. I totally forgot about that.
Well, I'm saying like not a documentary, but like a dramatized version. And I don't know.
I'm sure that's coming. You're not getting
it.
It's
will.
coming.
I just don't know, like, because Michael Jordan came at such the right time where it was the incursion of mass media before social media.
Yeah.
The rise of mass media, where you got everything that you really wanted to know about Michael Jordan, but he was still mysterious. So there's still this like aura around Michael Jordan, the person. Now we do know a lot more about Michael Jordan than maybe we wanted to know about Michael Jordan.
If Michael Jordan was on IG Live in 1998, like John Morant, like, we would all hate him. But...
if we saw him in the casino before Game 7, we were like, God damn. But like, I think that it'd be tough making these movies now for future generations because we have so much access to these people. That being said, none of the superstars that have come and gone, like you said, Derek Jeter, Tom Brady, are as inherently interesting as Michael Jordan. None. Not one. Not even LeBron James. I'm sorry. He's not. We know everything about LeBron James.
Yeah. We know way too much about LeBron James. We know way too much about LeBron James.
We don't know quite everything about Tom Brady, but we don't give a fuck. He's boring.
We don't care.
No one gives a shit.
We know enough. We know what the hell he be doing in around his marriages, and we know that he lost his family to go lose 8 games for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is not a smart decision, and not the way you would want to end your film if you were making a Tom Brady film.
But also, he like put out like weekly ESPN Plus shows about that.
Yeah.
And so we've already seen it. We've seen it all in real time. All of these current athletes.
You know what story? I want
Michael
to see
Jordan
the Antonio
is the
Brown
one.
story. I want to
Oh,
see the Antonio
God,
Brown
yes.
movie.
Oh,
That's what I
Jesus.
want to see.
Coming
That's
soon
gonna
to
be
BET
that's gonna be
Plus.
rated R.
Oh,
Put that shit
man.
on.
Jesus.
But I mean, I'm trying to think of like who would be the next like they already did the Venus and Serena story, which was great. King Richard is really good. But yeah,
But
like
that's about their dad more so
True.
than them.
I mean, this movie's not about Michael Jordan. It's about Nike.
Yeah.
There's ways around
okay,
this.
That's
Maybe they'll make a movie about the TB12 method. And
the
some
TB12
guy
method guy.
selling snake oil to that man.
They'll make a Tim Tebow movie about Aaron Hernandez and Percy
Or the
Harvin.
guy who made Tom Brady invest all his money in Bitcoin, and then Tom Brady lost all that money. We'll make a movie about him.
No, I don't know. I don't know what sports stories that we're gonna have moving forward. You know, I don't know.
Can't wait to tell
Quinn
my
Ewers
kids about
story.
Tiger Woods.
After Quinn
It's gonna be
Ewers-
Tiger. It's gonna be Tiger.
Oh, that's gonna be
That boy
that's gonna be
was
phenomenal.
wildin'.
Phenomenal cinema.
We need the movie of Tiger Woods getting caught by his wife. Like we need that.
Ugh, that'll be tough to watch on screen. You imagine
It'll
getting
be great to watch on Lifetime.
You imagine getting beaten up by the thing you do at work. Like, you imagine being hit with a law book.
Depending on who the woman is, I might welcome it, but not the type of women that Tiger Woods is into. We got different types.
Yeah, imagine one day Caitlin just came home, started beating you with a microphone, dude.
God, what'd I do?
And yeah, like I feel like the Tiger Woods story, it'll be more compelling to talk about, like maybe not more compelling, but they would probably frame it as like following a reporter who was covering the Tiger Woods story.
Don't take your kids to the Tiger
making
Woods
him
movie.
like he was a murderer, like when he
You're gonna
cheated
see
on
some
his
shit.
wife.
If you take your kids to the Tiger Woods movie, once you walk into that Perkins diner, you're gonna see some shit.
They're gonna show the text messages on
Applebee's.
screen. Cinema. That boy was wilding.
Anyway, get better, Tiger. We need you. We need you out here to win another champ.
That's not happening. You see him
massive-
out there this
Ooh,
weekend.
but
I think it's
yeah,
done.
plantar
Done.
fasciitis.
I
Where
think
did
it's
that
done.
come from?
Bro almost died like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, we
Seriously,
were all
true.
so scared.
Very true.
Like, and now he's back out here. That's insane.
Yeah, go design golf courses, Tiger. Yes, it might be Jover. Anyway. Yeah, so I put out a tweet not too long ago, right when this movie came out, because now they're just releasing movies on Wednesday afternoons.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. They just completely stopped releasing movies on like Thursday screenings.
I love it. Put them shits out on Tuesday. Let me get into the theater, bros.
What did you say, Dex? That they're just gonna go all the way back around?
Yeah, it's like just gonna keep creeping up and up and up, and then before you know it, it's like, oh, it's Friday now.
We're back on Friday.
We're back on Friday. We just went back in time. I said, in honor of the #Air movie, what brand would you like to see a movie made about? And let me see if I can find the original tweet from one less humble Teej. Oh, the brand that Teej said was Booty Talk, the movie.
If you know, you know. I know this before y'all's time, but listen. Some of the people
No.
listening to this podcast will know.
No. So that gave free reign to every pervert to come into our mentions, every sicko,
All of them.
and wild boy alike came into our mentions to tell us what porn companies that they would like to see a movie made about. We got let's see, Bang Bros. Let's see.
Pretty normie pick right there.
Yeah, we got we have a Fleshlight.
Boy, we got a story for y'all.
Somebody made a lot of money off that shit. That's crazy.
We have a story from the very beginning of this podcast where we found out the creation of the Fleshlight. Go back in the archives, you can find that one.
It's on the Lighthouse episode with.
Is it on the Lighthouse episode?
It
Yes.
is.
We're gonna have to find that one.
That's
Reality
the worst movie
Kings.
of all time.
Jesus. Anyway, here's some that I loved. Four Loko.
Dude.
Remember when they were putting 2 cups of coffee and 4 beers and a malt liquor drink?
Dude, listening to people from like the OG Four Loco like party era, listening to like Tej, I don't know if like that was your college days or like after your college days, but like those sound like World War II stories. Like those people.
That was after I had my Four Locos experience when I was in law school, and I never again will I drink. I said never again. I drank one. I said no, I'm good on this. I'm very good on this. That shit was ridiculous, bro. I can't believe that shit was ever legal. It is actually insane. I have a very nice tolerance, especially when I was in law school. I could really, really drink. And the way that you feel after you're drinking a Four Loko, I can't even explain it. It's like your body is having 19 different things happening at once. Those shit should have been banned from jump. I can't believe that they let that shit happen.
And there were people who like just didn't know any better and were drinking like 2 or 3 at a time. Like this shit.
19-year-old, 100-pound white women should not have been drinking those. Those shits were ridiculous, bro. I'm a grown man, and that shit had me feeling crazy.
They had y'all drinking fucking pipe bombs, dude. This shit is not
awful.
Hey,
era.
Imagine we just sold these teenagers 2 vodka Red Bulls in a can. Right? Just shotgun this one.
I still never had one because I'm like, even I know the weaker formula is a little stepped on, but I'm still like, no, thank you.
It's just they don't have any caffeine in it anymore. They can't legally do that. So
good.
It's just
objectively horrible idea to put that much caffeine in an alcoholic beverage. Objectively bad idea.
They got taken to court. So there were ones like I keep going past all the porn ones. Fubu is a great one.
The Fubu story is going to be fire. I love it. Sign me up.
Shout out to Shark Tank.
I don't remember those days of the Fat Albert hit the block. When the Fat Albert Fubu teas hit the block, bro, it changed everything, bro. It was everywhere. You have no idea how big of a deal it was. You have no idea.
There's one, Jenko jeans.
Yuck. That's what the skaters wore when I was in middle school. All the skaters had Jenko jeans on, and they said, "You're gonna get some Jenkos," and I said, "Y'all look swaggerless as shit. I will never put that shit on ever."
They kind of made kind of a comeback.
Still swaggerless.
Taco Bell and how he just literally stole all of that shit from the person from the Mexican restaurant across the street.
Incredible establishment.
The American dream, baby.
Establishment. That's the American dream. You steal and you make shit happen. That's the American dream.
Bad Boy Records, but make it like Wolf of Wall Street with Puffy moving like Jordan Belfort.
That's cinema. And also, whatever Puffy was really doing put Jordan Belfort to shame. So, yeah, let's do it. I'm in.
Anthony Mackie has to be in that movie.
No, please. No, God. No, stop.
I'm Tupac, motherfucker.
Motherfucker, it's Tupac. Puff Daddy in his prime went into the club with ratchets on him, with Jennifer Lopez on his arm, and these niggas were shooting in the club with Jennifer Lopez right there, bros. Imagine the kind of life that you're living to where, imagine if somebody went into the club right now and was like, oh, I'm hanging out with the Kardashians, and literally everybody had ratchets on them and got into a shootout in the club. Like, that shit is crazy, bro.
Now she's married to Ben Affleck. We come full circle.
J-Lo ain't looked at a black man since that night, brothers. It was over for everybody.
She was like, nah, it's enough for me. Y'all.
She said, no, I'm good on y'all. I'm good. Y'all better be able to speak Spanish at a minimum. Do you know Ben Affleck can speak Spanish, by the way? He speaks Spanish. She has not dated a man who can't speak Spanish since that night, brothers. It changed her whole life.
She got away from the violence. She no longer Jenny from the block, and now she's 50 and looks 28. So
we can all... if only, right? If only.
You ruined that for everybody. Thanks a lot, P. Diddy. You ruined it.
So the one Dex that you said, you chiming in here, Yeezys.
Yes, I want to see the story of Yeezy, the rise and the fall, specifically of Yeezy, not Kanye's whole life story. I want when Kanye leaves Nike, starts Yeezy, and then when his life fucking falls apart and he becomes a Nazi. I need that to be the end of the movie. I need it on some Lydia Tarr shit at the end where his life is a complete fucking mess. And whoever you get to play Kanye West in this movie is just going crazy at the end. I need that shit.
Speaking of Nazis, a lot of people said the Adidas and Puma story.
Yeah, well,
Y'all, they
Which is
said
hinted
it
at
in this
air.
movie,
It's
which is
it's hinted at
hilarious.
in air. Yeah.
If you don't know, do yourself a quick Google and find out a little bit about how Adidas started. If you don't know, all of your favorite brands are former Nazis. I don't know if y'all know that. BMW.
all right, relax.
Sorry.
Adidas signed Harden, so we not even we off that now.
Adidas,
They signed the
Puma,
greatest hooper in the world, James Harden. So
Coca
we off
Chanel.
that. And
the once
Beyonce.
and future Rockets legend, James Harden.
Facts.
This was mine, and I don't know if this is true, but it sounded true, so I'm just gonna stick with it. The story behind Patagonia, the white people pullovers, is
I love Patagonia. Patagonia is good in these streets.
okay, good. But I've just associated it with a bunch of granola whites and or finance bros. But
Or people that be doing a lot of camping or hunting and gathering. That's
Patagonia, there is a rumor that there was a huge drug drop, kind of a la Cocaine Bear, in the mountains in Oregon, I believe. And they dropped a bunch of weed, and the only people that could get to it were a bunch of backpackers and trail climbers, mountain climbers, if you will. They got it and sold all of it, and the dude that sold it founded Patagonia.
Hell yeah.
Give me that story. I don't know if that's true. That's alleged. It makes a lot of sense. It makes sense in my head canon, so that it's true.
I love him even more now, to be honest.
That's much better than Cocaine Bear. Much better already. Off rip.
Also, like, it's got to be a few years from now because we're currently living it. But whatever Twitter ends up being, gonna make a great fucking movie. However, this ends,
when it ends democracy, ooh, spicy.
Yeah, and they can also do Social Network Part 2. Like, it's time. Like, y'all can revisit.
Do you think we can find? Do you, like, if someone is playing Elon Musk on screen, do you think it's like gonna jump the shark? You know what I mean? Like, we're watching him and be like, ugh, I don't want to.
Because, like, he is very uncompelling to listen to talk, and, like, he mumbles a lot. It might end up like a Donald Trump impression where, like, to be, like, lifelike, you have to be really, like, distracting in a movie.
Or just do the Jesse Eisenberg thing and not be like what his character is.
Yeah, just completely ignore it.
Just completely ignore it. I'm going to do my own thing. I don't know. Anyway, anything else? What are we watching? I got a couple of movies that I've seen here. I did watch Tetris, and I watched a romantic comedy that I believe that you all should also watch if you're listening to this, called Rye Lane on Hulu.
Oh yeah,
I need to get to that.
It is the best reviewed movie of the year, I believe. I think it's like 99% on everything, but yeah, it's an actual romantic comedy. So good. Turn your subtitles on.
Is it British? Or?
Yes, it's very British.
Okay, cool.
Super British.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'll be struggling.
I can't do it
without subtitles. I can't do it without subtitles. I have to have subtitles.
Also, the Tetris movie was a worse version of Air.
Good to know.
It just is. So, but it's fine. You know what I mean? If you're looking for something to watch and you want a new movie, it's fine. You do worse than Taron Egerton.
I'd rather watch Jack Black in the Mario movie again.
Facts.
Peaches.
Incredible cinema.
Can't wait to talk about that one. I might go see it again before we review it.
I think I'm going again too because Jack Black really bodied the hope. Like, he really stole the movie. He's great.
Shout out to Anya Taylor-Joy.
Just doing her normal voice.
Yep.
Literally did not change her voice at all. Seth Rogen also did not change his voice at all.
Good.
Anya Taylor-Joy been changing her voice her whole life. She's good. But yeah, I just started the new Netflix show Beef with Ali Wong and Steven Yeun. I've only seen the first episode, but it's off to a good start. I'll probably go watch another episode before I go to bed after I finish this here. I don't remember if I talked about this last time we potted, but I saw 1001, the Tiana Taylor movie.
You did. We
Yeah, you did.
I'm gonna talk about it again because it's really good. Y'all need to go see that shit. Tiana Taylor is really her. I'm excited to watch anything that she's in now because she was acting her ass off. And the movie is nothing like you expect it to be when you first started. Shout out to 1001. And yeah, I've mostly been watching a bunch of Houston Dynamo and Houston Dash. Check out all of our soccer coverage on ApolloHU.com.
Big football hours.
Big football hours.
Succession might have just dropped the TV episode of the year. Tapped into Succession. We're in the final season. Barry is starting back up, and this weekend I'm very excited for Barry's final season as well. What else have I been watching? I'm watching The Night Agent on Netflix. I'm about to start Beef on Netflix. And I've just been in a real big TV bag, and I've been only seeing the movies that mostly the ones we've talked about or the ones that we've covered on the podcast. So I'm going to branch out here a little bit. But after the Oscar season, I always watch a little bit less movies for about a month, and now I'm about to ramp it back up. Real cinema is back.
Ted Lasso, season 3.
Yuck.
Nope.
I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely not.
I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely not.
I haven't
I
seen
need
it,
to
so I'm not gonna say it's bad. I just am not going to watch
I need
it.
to tap into Shrinking as well. I've heard great things about Shrinking.
It's good.
I need to tap
It's
into
good.
Shrinking.
You'll enjoy it.
When are we getting Severance back? That's what we need.
We need that. That's real cinema right there. You're
Next year,
right. I think next year though. It won't be till next year.
like they just finished shooting it, I believe.
Sad.
Yeah. That wasn't, guys. This is now Talking TV. Severance, good show. Yeah. So
Well, yeah, Succession's about to walk away with every Emmy this year, so they were like, "Let's punt."
we're punting on this
Smart.
one.
Smart, because Succession's coming through and cleaning up at the Emmys. It's gonna be it's gonna be a blowout.
I gotta start it. God damn! I already had it ruined for me too because
Best
it
show
just
on
was
TV.
immediately on the timeline. So yeah, you can find us at One Take Pod on Twitter, One Take Pod on Instagram, TikTok, the like. You can find us at Lord Dex Hinton, at Les_Humble Teej, at Royden Ogletree. Go follow Dex's writing at Apollo HOU. That's the Twitter handle. ApolloHOU.com.
I should say, despite what you might see on Amazon's Twitter account, I do not have beef with Michael B. Jordan. I like Michael B.
Oh
Jordan.
yeah, we didn't even talk about it.
I do not have beef with
I
Michael B.
forgot
Jordan.
about that. Yeah.
I like Michael B. Jordan. I like Creed 3, as I've said on this podcast before. I do not have any beef with Michael B. Jordan. I just want to clarify that.
Tej, if you haven't seen it, we'll try to retweet it. But Tej was just using the marketing promo you saw Tej more in the marketing promo for Creed 3 than you did Jonathan Majors in the marketing promo for Creed 3. So yeah,
I was looking at all the set photos, everything. I was just so into it. And I tweeted, I said, LOL on Michael B. Jordan's director face, because he was making a face that was clear that, like, oh, this is the director Michael B. Jordan face.
He didn't like that joke. He didn't like it.
He was
they put
unmoved.
that in front of him. And I hate when this whole thing where you put someone's tweet in front of a celebrity. It's awful. It's out of context. We should stop doing it.
You agreed to it.
I did, but only
Yeah,
I
but he
didn't
ain't
know
know it was
how-
gonna be like that.
I didn't know they were going to show it to Michael B. Jordan. I thought they were going to put it in like a collaboration of tweets. I didn't know they were going to show it to Michael B. Jordan. I did not know that.
This
showed it to
and the time that The Rock quote tweeted you in a TikTok.
That was awful.
Unbelievable.
The most
man.
random thing.
I wish
too.
that he quote tweeted me about my Black Adam takes, because I had a lot of Black Adam takes and I still believe them, and that shit looks trash. But I will be saying, I've seen the Flash trailer now probably 6-7 times. Listen, guys, I don't want to be problematic here, but that shit's about to be real cinema, and I'm going to be there night one. I'm sorry. I'm just going to admit that. We're probably going to cover it on this podcast. That shit looks like it's going to slap. Fuck Ezra Miller, but that shit looks great, bro.
Yeah, we're all going to go watch the movie. We're going to review it on this podcast, but I can guarantee you we will spend at least 45 minutes bullying Ezra Miller to make up for it.
Fuck Ezra Miller.
as they deserve.
As they deserve.
Yeah.
They
They fucking stink.
thank you to all the listeners for watching, listening, reviewing, go leave us a review. I've seen a couple people rate us on Spotify. I really appreciate that. Help us get that rating up. Very simple. Just swipe right on that. And yeah, leave us a written review. We would really appreciate it. Tell us what you like. Don't tell us what you don't like. We don't care. And Dex, what are we doing?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh. I haven't seen A Good Person yet. I've heard very bad things, but I'm gonna watch it anyway.
Literally hasn't even come to theaters here. So yay.
I gotta tap in. I'm sorry. Florence Pugh is real cinema.
It had like a 27 critic score.
Oh my god!
And then it had like a 95 audience score. I was like, oh, it's one of those.
Oh, yeah. No, maybe I'll enjoy it.
Like a 7.8 on IMDb. So people are vehemently. Anyway, cool. One more time. What are we doing?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh.
Yay! All right, we're out.